Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for May 23rd through 27th, 2022. How are you doing in this very intense astrology of Mercury retrograde and eclipse season? It is powerful what's going on. So much to talk about. Here we are halfway almost to the next lunation, which will be the new moon in Gemini. This is a very partial eclipse. It's happening at 9 degrees Gemini and 3 minutes. 9 is a powerful number of completions and an energy of taking it to the next level. So in Gemini, we're talking about speaking. We're talking about expressing. We're talking about communicating and putting out there who we really are to the world. And this is everything the astrology is about. With Mercury retrograde in Gemini, now just moved back over into Taurus, crossing over the sun, moving into Gemini. So Mercury Sun conjunction, Sun, Mercury going the other way at 0 degrees Gemini. Very, very powerful. Now, on top of that, we've got Vesta just moved over into the sign of Pisces. So Vesta is there at 0 degrees Pisces in square to the Sun and Mercury as they make this cross. Now, Vesta is the asteroid goddess representing the sacred fire, creation fire, sacred fire, creative energy, spiritual creative energy. And Vesta was the keeper of that sacred flame. And so we all are being awakened and asked to come into this part of ourselves, our keeper of our sacred flame. Have we let that Have we let that go out? Is it time to rekindle that fire? And whoa, is the astrology saying, yes, absolutely. You have no choice in the matter here, because tomorrow Mars moves over into the sign of Aries. Mars' home sign, he loves it there. And he is raring to go after all this Pisces energy and still kind of coming out of his retrograde energy from the beginning of the year. And so we've got this powerful energy of Aries fire, which is the claiming of life, the claiming of life force. Aries is that time of the infusion of form with spirit, conception. And it also rules that place where the organism is threatened with life and death and will fight to live. This is what we're all being asked to do right now. It's kind of like the half-ass way of living, partially dying as zombies is just not going to cut it for the Aquarian age, right? So are you living? Are you not living? And where are you living and where are you not living? And isn't it time to claim back your life? What is the point of being here in this evolution? What is the point of being here in a body if we're not going to fully live? This is what creation, source, creator, God wants us to do, is to enjoy life and feel life and live life. But we've been in such a suppressed state, suppressed in our expression, suppressed health-wise, with the Western medical system, suppression of truth. And this is all kind of bursting at the seams because of this Aries and Gemini energy together. Because the sun moving over into Gemini is in a sextile relationship to Jupiter, who just moving over, to Mars and Jupiter. Just had a sextile relationship. Excuse me. Yeah. So, and so it's powerful energy of creative solutions and activating this fire through expression. You can have all this access to fire and creation energy and your passion, but it's really not going to amount to anything until you express it and share it with the world. And that's where we've all gotten into trouble, in this, especially the Piscean age, and being silenced in our spiritual truth and silenced and suppressed in our creation power, which is feminine power. And so we're just having this massive opportunity to claim this back. So we've got a powerful, just the way the planets are lining up is just so much to talk about. It's kind of overwhelming. But the main energy right now is going to be Mars moving over into some home sign of Aries, because that happens tomorrow on Tuesday. And that means that Mars is coming right into that conjunction with Jupiter. Mars-Jupiter conjunction, an explosive, powerful expansion of this life force, expansion of freedom, expansion of the power that we can access in order to make the changes we want to see in this world and create the life we know is possible and begin to live again. Or actually, we create the life we know is possible by beginning to live again. And so the fact that Mars and Jupiter are happening at 3 degrees Aries is really powerful. 3 is a number of creation. 3 is 2 parts coming together and making more than the parts. And so it's about creating a product. And in this case, in Aries, the very early degrees of Aries are about differentiation into your identity. And this is an interesting energy where we are coming into finding our place, our role in the greater picture. This is what this the Sabian symbol of this degree is about. And this is exactly where we're at. Humanity, and especially supernova souls, have felt so isolated and abandoned and alienated. And that's not healthy or even, human. Humanity, we are advanced beings, but we're in a human body, and human bodies have human needs. And this is where we get stuck a lot because supernova souls are like, whatever, I'm fine, It's time to heal these human needs and the deprivation and the alienation that we've all felt. That it all goes back to this grand delusion and illusion of separation from source, which we know we are fractals. We know we can feel, we're accessing this life force again. We're like, oh yeah, living creation energy. But the deal with life itself and humanity, really, the human species, is that when the human baby is born, it's like completely incapable. Most mammals, all mammals need to be cared for and are fed milk by their mother. But humans, a horse can come out even and it's standing in the first day. Humans are just completely incapable. Like, they're so dependent, right? And not only are we dependent on getting our basic needs met, being protected from danger and warm enough and food and all that, but it's clearly been shown that humans cannot thrive without warmth and love and affection and connection. And so this is, of course, going to be connected to this core wound. Our core wound of separation is a wound of the mother and our relationship to the mother principle. Now, this is like massively on the table right now because Black Moon Lilith is in Cancer. Black Moon Lilith is the furthest away that the moon will get from the Earth in its orbit. And it represents the deepest, darkest secrets of our psyche and what's hidden in the depths. In this case, we're looking at this mother wound, our wounds and our hidden secrets and our distortions around our relationship to being cared for, our relationship to the feminine. The energy of nurturing and feeling held and loved and like fully satisfied is such a rare feeling. And it's like humanity is out there trying to fill this never-ending black hole with energy outside of themselves because of this mother wound and the separation, not realizing that they have source right here available inside. And so this mother wound is our heart space. It's our ability to give and receive, mostly receive. And supernova souls are not that good at receiving. We've been programmed with such low self-worth. Okay, so now we're talking about this is so powerful because we've had the sun in Taurus, and we've got the North Node in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus, and this is awakening and a new direction, a new path forward, all based on our self-worth. So clearly this is connected. You know, our self-worth to receive. Taurus is good at receiving. Generally, Taurus is like loves to experience the senses and the beautiful things of life, you know, being ruled by Venus. And so we are opening back up to being in a receiving relationship with the Great Mother and our Earth, which is a manifest form of the Great Mother, feeling loved and held and cared for again. Very far away from how supernova souls have felt. But Black Moon Lilith in Cancer is in square to Jupiter, as Black Moon Lilith is now moving, is at 4 degrees Cancer, and coming in, that means in square to Jupiter, and they're going to be 1 degree apart from for the next couple of weeks. Within 1 degree apart. They don't come into an exact square, which is interesting. Now, Jupiter is expansive. It's all about more. It's about light. It's about expanding and amplifying. And so Jupiter in Aries is expanding and amplifying our connection to life force, our I am, this quest and zest for life. And but in square to Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, it's saying, can you receive? You know, we talked about Jupiter going over to Aries as this energy of landing and anchoring in a whole new timeline, or a completely kind of like out of time timeline, or a whole new potential on Christ consciousness and ascension and activation, landing and anchoring in these potentials and possibilities. But in square to Black Moon Lilith, it's saying, okay, yeah, you can be in the most abundant place, right? I mean, how many of us have gone through this where you think you're in lack with money, something you've always wanted, and then when you finally have that, you're like, oh God, it's not filling the hole like I thought it would, you know? And we are being shown a massive abundance and bounty energetically available to us by living, breathing organisms imbued with the soul spirit essence of God, source, and a human soul. But then it's kind of like, can you receive that bounty? It's your own bounty, right? This is our own energy accessible to us, but are you even worthy of your own energy? Like, can you handle it? Lots of energy of anxiety, like programming, a huge opportunity for deprogramming of anxiety and fear programming around activation. That's hugely coming up because this Aries energy is like fire. And it's been a long time since we've had this much fire, and it's super activating. But Black Moon Lilith in Cancer saying, you know, there's a problem here. And if you don't feel worthy of receiving. Now, when we're in this heart wound, this core wound, this delusion of separation, this feeling of being unloved and left alone here and abandoned on this planet, let supernova souls all feel in general, that it's also connected to trauma and drama, right? Grief, it's like where we hold in our heart. It's also, our heart is where our arms come out of our body. It's like giving and receiving. And it feels that this heart drama and closed down, and this just trauma and is blocking our heart chakra of our, what I would call the cosmic heart chakra, and from activating our connection to the cosmos. And these stories of illusion and delusion of separation and rejection for supernova soul, right? Like feeling like nobody can receive what you have to offer. And you're like, what in the heck am I even doing here? And then that's very connected to this inability to receive as well. You feel not received in your gifts and is who you are. And it's like the same energy as not being able to receive the support and help you need at this time. So when we have this wound, it blocks that cosmic heart. It blocks our ability to bring our creation energy from our lower chakras and into our co-creation abilities in the higher chakras. And that wound keeps us constantly down in the personality constructs, like taking things personal, right? We all know this. It's oversensitivity. And it's like, it's like, I can barely handle. I know SuperNova Soul is so incredibly sensitive. These things trigger us back into our personality constructs and our lower self and constantly keep us down in the dumps, down in that lower play, So we got to heal this heart wound, and come back into a connection to the mother and begin to live and co-create from that place. So it's really, really powerful energy. A huge surge of energy, like I said. And when we have these surges of energy, you typically it gives us that opportunity to find fear programming and anxiety, kind of like, because we've all been told that if we access this higher intuitive machinery, our pineal gland and our true abilities here, we're programmed to think that we can't handle it, or it's something dangerous, will hurt the people around us. It goes all the way back to Atlantean time and the catastrophes and all that. But it's like, why would we have it? And doesn't the world need it? And isn't it been long enough? We got to claim this shit back and stop telling me it's not time yet. I'm not buying it. Because it's kind of like you get to this point where you have a glimpse of the power that's available in the human body in these times, especially as an advanced soul. And then you're like, you know what? This world is messed. And like, not on my watch, right? If I need to be here, then I'm going to bust out of the matrix. I'm going to be the rebel. I'm going to stand in my truth. I'm going to step into the fires of purification and claim this life back and be that living, breathing example to humanity of what's possible. And it's a tall order, it's a lot, but it's what we came here for. And it's going to feel really good. The further we get on this path, the better we're going to feel, and that's what it's about. Like, coming back to this energy of Aries and creation. It's like, God wants you to feel good. Get over yourself, like, allow the bounty, the beauty, the love, the hope, the abundance, the spiritual truth of this world to flood back into your life. Capture it in your cells on a cellular level. Allow that DNA activation so we can begin working in the garden. And we already are, right? And that's a beautiful place when you can kind of, I saw this picture of like, we're in this kind of dome or a firmament. And I have seen pictures of SuperNova souls like banging at the wall of like, you see this like kind of container energy of our energetic frequency of this planet. And then I saw a picture of SuperNova souls one by one. What we've been doing over these last years is breaking out but then it's interesting because it's like, apparently there's heavenly waters, right? Is a way to see it on the other side. And but the picture and the programming is that if you get out there, you're all alone, you're cold, you're wet, and it's just dark and empty and there's nothing. And so SuperNova souls will have a moment there, and then other people in their life, those karmic relationships, will be like, hey, come down here with us. What are you doing? You need us. You have to stay with us. We have to stay on the same level. Like, don't go ascending away from, like, we need you here. It's like, I thought you didn't even like me or want to have anything to do with me. Now you're going to pull me back down into this garbage with you? Hell no. So there's an illusion that you're all alone and cold and naked and uncared for if you break out of this matrix. It's that tribal mentality. You're only going to get what you need if you stay here with everybody else and just put your goddamn mask on. What's the problem? And so I wanted to share this picture that's an illusionary place of the threshold. And once that programming is overcome, then you'll find yourself walking in the garden and feeling that energy. And even if you feel alone, you're on your way. There's no way to be in the garden and not be on the path towards your people and your community and your projects and everything you came here to do, So interesting pictures coming forward in this incredible astrology. So that new moon in Gemini is very powerful. Right now we've had Mercury, Sun just came together. And then they're in square to Vesta, this sacred fire, activating our sacred fire on the cusp of our self-worth and expression, right? So it's this Gemini Taurus cusp, 0 degrees. It's at 0 point. And it's like, how can we ever come into our potential if we don't feel worthy? How can we express it if we don't feel worthy of receiving it? It's the same issues, right? Now Mercury is going to be making a square with Vesta as it comes out of retrograde shadow in June again. And that's really powerful because it's like, that's when it's like about getting our voice back and moving forward into new territory of expression. And so this square with Vesta as Mercury comes out of retrograde at 4 degrees is where it comes out of shadow. So it'll already be direct, but then when it comes out of its retrograde shadow, and 4 degrees Gemini is about establishing something, 4 walls, right? It's establishing a new level of expression. And so that's a very powerful time. June is super dynamic energy. It's interesting to note that Mercury and the Sun, they just cross paths at the 0 degrees Gemini point, and won't come back together again until July 17th. And that will be at 24 degrees Cancer. So it's just the saga continues, right? And so Mercury and the Sun is like making sense of our identity and role that we're playing right now. And it's saying, you got to figure out how to feel confident enough to express yourself in the world, Ugh. And it's like, but wait a minute, it's been thousands of years of keeping myself safe by shutting up, So we're undoing a lot. Now, in July and August, when Mercury and the Sun come back together again, then, the energy of Black Moon Lilith there in Cancer, this activation of the darkest sides of mothering and nurturing, which there's a whole, I'm going to be doing more presentation on that because it's a profound, this time in this astrology is just a profound shift and healing available on that mother wound. And so also in July and August, Uranus will be with the North Node. And that's going to be another hugely activating. This whole year is about conjunctions and sextiles and trines, and there are squares, but it's really about like unlocking the sextile energies and these trines, harmonious trines and conjunctions. It's like, let's work together. Let's figure it out. Let's unlock it. And so it's all about unlocking this potential. And what is it saying to us? It's saying, you got to, Jupiter, Mars, you got a massive amount of potential, and Mercury retrograde, but you don't feel worthy of receiving it or expressing it. And here we are. So 9 degrees Gemini is where this new moon is going to be. That's going to be on Monday the 30th, but the activation will be on Sunday the 29th. It's such a partial eclipse this time that I'm going to do a regular new moon activation. So Gemini new moon activation, but still the energy is powerful. It's interesting because this new moon is relatively unaspected to other planets and elements. But we've got that Black Moon Lilith square Jupiter. And so it's about expanding into life force and the limitation of the mother wound and the dark feminine holding us back. And so powerful. Another thing that's happening right after this new moon is that Pallas Athene, asteroid goddess of justice, and a warrior for justice, is coming up to Uranus. Now, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, the awakener. And so it's awakening the voice of justice. And